This is the Business on Top podcast with Shane Chernoff, Vijay Patel, and Ben Siegel.
I love this company! Yeah!
Okay, so welcome to the Business on Top podcast, Episode 9. Like Transformers, more than meets the eye here on the Business on Top podcast. Shane Chernoff along with Ben Siegel and Vijay Patel. It is Game 3 of the World Series going on behind us. The Dodgers are out to the early lead here. And before we kind of get into what we've seen from the World Series so far, I want to go back to a simpler time in the Business on Top podcast before we had Mr. Big Voice. We started and got to know each other and started to develop some on-air chemistry, and one of the things that we did during that first episode was we made some predictions and we talked about what we thought was going to happen in this crazy COVID-shortened baseball season. And I wanted to bring your attention to something that was said on that episode, so you can listen to it right here. Uh-oh. Well, anyway, the sound that it was going to be was my prediction that the Los Angeles Dodgers were going to get it done because of Mookie Betts. And did you guys happen to watch Game 1? Did you guys see what happened in Game 1?
Or, no, wait, was that Game 2?
That was Game 1. No, I'm glad that you said that. So you're pointing to a very delicious Taco Bell Doritos Locos Taco.
Free of charge.
Brought to you by, free of charge, brought to you by Taco Bell, courtesy of the app. Courtesy of Mookie Betts, actually.
God bless
Mookie Betts becoming the first player since Chase Utley at the time was on the Phillies to hit 2 home runs and it was 1 home run and 2 stolen bases. To steal 2 bases and hit 1 home run in a game since Chase Utley in 2008, who also did it against the Rays. What Chase Utley didn't do, aside from being an a-hole, because Chase Utley, if you're listening to me, you are an a-hole. What he didn't do was get everybody free tacos, as Mookie Betts has done twice in his career. So, as we sit here, I want to say thank you, Mookie, for doing 2 things. First, you made me right, which I enjoy. If there's one thing I enjoy as much as Taco Bell, it's being right. So, if the Dodgers are able to actually close out the World Series, my prediction that the Dodgers would win the World Series is because of Mookie Betts will come true. The second thing you did for me was got me this delicious free taco that I'm about to eat right now.
We should also tell everyone that this is like a rare occurrence, right? We're still continuing our tradition of Taco Bell after filming. This is like the pregame to the party.
This was just a prop. It's a delicious prop, but it is a prop.
It was free. You know, you had to get it because it was free. And
but it's also Taco Bell, so we're going out of our way to get it. So.
And we're gonna make. Don't worry, we'll pay big dollars after this podcast. We'll give Taco Bell their money's worth.
So the only difference, really, is we usually get Taco Bell after. I'm having Taco Bell before and after.
I'm jealous, actually.
I'm salivating at the mouth right now.
I just want Taco Bell right now.
So what do we?
Podcast is over. So.
Well, all right. Good night, everybody. The Business on Top podcast. You know what you should do to the Business on Top podcast? You should like, rate, review, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, re-rate, re-review the Business on Top podcast. Vijay Patel, Shane Chernoff, Ben Siegel. Let's get it. So, talk to me about what we have right now, because we have a tied series, and it looks like really it is anybody's series. It depends really just what pitcher is on any given night. We did see the Rays bounce back in Game 2 after a less than stellar showing in Game 1. But one thing I was really impressed by was Clayton Kershaw in Game 1 had a pretty solid performance. I thought Dave Roberts managed him pretty well, taking him out right when he could. Didn't want the wheels falling off, so even though he was on a relatively low pitch count, he let him rock.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, we'll talk about that later on in our podcast, but I think Kershaw is back. Well, not back. He's been great for this,
playoff Kershaw.
Yeah, playoff Kershaw.
It's kind of interesting to watch the because the Rays kind of are created the opener in baseball where they put a reliever who starts, pitches 1 or 2 innings and they just play a bullpen game. And you actually saw the Dodgers do that in Game 2. Their starter went 1 inning, and he got into a little bit of trouble. I think he walked like the first hitter, maybe the second one as well, and he got pulled.
It's strange to me what playoff baseball has become, because you're starting to see that more and more. And I heard a pretty interesting opinion from Bob Ryan of the Boston Globe earlier this week, where he said that like Tony La Russa was the one that originally started that, where he had Dennis Eckersley only come in to pitch the 9th inning, and would only come in with a lead. Whereas in the past, if you saw like in the 80s and 70s, closers would generally come in, they would pitch for 2 or 3 innings. It was just your best reliever, and they would be able to pitch an extended period of time. Mm-hmm. But what we started to see is, as pitchers, I don't want to call it coddled, but as teams get more conservative with their arms, what you see is pitchers starting to come in less and less. And there are certain teams, the Rays have done it in the past, where you have your closer who's like pitching the 1st or 2nd inning just because you need a spot starter, and then just, 6 or 7 guys are just pitching 1 inning until the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons to the opener strategy, right? Like, the obvious pros are you're going to have 5 to 6 pitchers pitch who will be throwing different speeds, different arm angles, so the hitters can't pick up on their 2nd or 3rd time around, right? They're going to be facing a new pitcher probably every at-bat that game. So in that scenario, it's probably the advantage of the pitcher. First time the hitter's probably seeing them, and, more than likely, again, like I said, different arm slot, different pitches, so advantage pitcher in that case. But that strategy doesn't work, if one of your bullpen guys gives up a ton of runs.
Right.
And not only that, but you run through your bullpen very quickly. And if, you're throwing, in the Rays case, Glasnow or Snell, and they get rocked in the 1st inning, your bullpen was taxed the game before, and you have limited options to choose from, kind of how you want to guide the rest of the game. So, the opener strategy works for the Rays because they have such a deep and good bullpen, but, it could go the opposite, where we saw with the Dodgers, Game 2, they put, I think Dustin May was the 2nd pitcher in right after the starter, and he gave up 3 runs off the bat, and the Dodgers can never come back from that.
Yeah, and it really depends, and I think very much like the NFL, Major League Baseball can kind of be like a copycat league where you saw managers and organizations start to have success with that, and now we start to see a few different franchises across baseball adopt it. But
actually, real quick, I want to actually ask Vijay, because obviously he played at a much higher level than me and you.
Well, he's definitely a better ball player than either of us.
Yeah, definitely the best baseball player sitting at this table. So I guess coming from...
Although I won Mario Kart tonight, just so you know.
Yeah,
well,
sober.
Yeah. Sober October, ladies and gentlemen.
This is going to get
also brought to you by Coke Zero.
But I guess from your perspective, when a starter was in the 2nd or 3rd time around you saw him, I mean, was it that much easier to kind of pick up his pitches? Or, like, if you were, from a hitter's perspective, do you like the opener strategy where maybe, that maybe there's a bullpen guy who might come in that might not be as good as, you have a shot at maybe getting a weak link as opposed to a starter who, like Kershaw, who may be good for 6 innings?
Yeah, so if I were to compare that, what you just told me, to anything, it would be high school. Because, like, high school would be the one time where you probably face that starter.
Especially in Palm Beach County.
Yeah, like West like for us, West Boca was one of those schools.
Yeah.
Like my first 2 years, we'd always see the same starter. And they would go through, like, 6 innings.
Yeah.
We'd never see, like...
And it's 7-inning games, right? It's not 9.
Right.
That's a good point.
School.
And the talent level was way, like... We went to Olympic Heights, so, like, our talent level was...
OH?
Yeah, OH. But West Boca recruited, and like they always had the top end pitchers, but we'd always face the same starters every game we faced them, because it's not like we faced them in a series.
Right.
It would be every, like, I don't know.
But I want to follow up on that, because Ben's logic is sound, because if you get a pitcher, generally you only have so many different pitches, and the more you go through the order, the more you're seeing, okay, well, this is this guy's best stuff, so I can either sit on it, I can ignore it, and it's just all it's all input that goes into your next at bat. Am I right?
Right. No, absolutely. it's interesting because for if your talent is way better than the other team, you just leave that starter in because you know that guy is probably going to strike out.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you've seen him once or twice.
Like if you're in high school, probably throwing high 80s. I mean, definitely low 90s. I mean, you probably have an advantage almost over every hitter. I mean, you're just blowing it by high school hitters.
I mean, there were a couple hitters, per team that could probably
barely.
You see him the first time, and then the next bat you'll figure it out, and you know what pitch. Most of those guys are throwing fastballs.
Yeah.
They're not going to be throwing curveballs because they know the talent's way underneath them, and they usually have scouts in the back. They just want to see how fast they throw, anyways.
That probably played to your advantage though, because sorry to cut you off, but because obviously you're a smart hitter and you went to the plate with an idea. So kind of if you were in a lineup with a guy or guys that maybe didn't have the same approach as you. Right, you knew that the pitcher was probably going to be pumping fastballs because you thought the whole lineup was like that. So it'd be easier for you to just sit fastball. And
that's all I did.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I did well because I knew what was coming,
yeah.
and I feel like my bat speed was a lot faster than some of the other players on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I did well.
Yeah, you had pitchers that had an easier time with some of the other guys in the lineup because you could just power them by.
Exactly.
But if you're able to get around on a pitch, especially if you're able to sit dead red, because that's the only pitch that an opposing pitcher would be able to locate, it's going to be easier to get out in front and drive the ball.
In high school, it was like I always look forward to the relievers because the relievers it was such a big
straight
drop
fastball,
off from the starters.
Oh, and quality. Okay, I see what you're saying.
In when I played on a college travel team, it was way different. It was closer to the majors to anything you faced.
Yeah, where they had an actual bullpen.
Exactly.
Is there anyone that you remember playing against? That you just remember, man, that guy's arm was so alive, and I just...
Oh, a couple. Matt Kelly went to West Boca.
Michael.
I think
was it Michael?
Oh,
I thought Michael Kelly was the third baseman.
No, he was a pitcher.
Oh, okay.
Mike Kelly.
M. Kelly. M.
Kelly. I remember I hit him well because all he did was throw fastballs. I mean, he was pumping it at 89, 90 at the time, but if it's right down the middle and you have decent bat...
Did he end up at UM?
No, he went straight to the majors.
Okay, so I'm just wrong all over the place. I'm just gonna turn my mic off now.
Come on the pod, M.
Kelly. Who else? Brian Bush.
Yeah, FSU.
Yep. Chichi Rodriguez.
That's
that
true.
That was way before middle school. We faced him.
The Oral Roberts product, and I think eventually he ended up pitching for the Rangers, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He did well the first game.
No, he had a good rookie year, and I don't know what happened to him. But right now we've got, let's see, Blake Snell getting interviewed in the dugout. Game 3, it's pretty early on. The Dodgers drew first blood. Let's ask Business on Top who comes out on top in this World Series.
Dodgers.
I gotta go with my original pick. I don't know how many games it's gonna take, but I think just from top to bottom, that team is built to win a championship, and it's honestly crazy that it hasn't already. But,
Dodgers?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean...
He didn't specify. I was like, what were you talking about?
Yeah, no, definitely the Dodgers.
Rays are pretty good, too.
Right, that's not to take anything away from the Rays, but I think the Dodgers are going to be probably listening to We Are the Champions by the time that we get it done, which is also a great karaoke song, Ben.
It is. Queen.
Yeah, Queen, We Will Rock You is another one, which I don't think I realized that We Will Rock You leads straight into We Are the Champions, I think, on the album. I think it's two parts of the same song or something like that. Mm-hmm. But, you and I were talking before the show about karaoke.
Yeah. I was on the drive over here, and there's always a song, whether it comes on Spotify or, whatever your playlist. Doesn't matter what mood you're in, doesn't matter the time of the day, you're not skipping it, you're singing along. So it's pretty much like your go-to karaoke song, right? The song you're going to choose that you know the words to, that you're going to jam out to. So I want to know your guys' songs.
Oh, okay.
So I'll start.
Say yours? Yeah, no, we can do it. The thing is, I'm a child and a product of the era that I grew up in. My adolescence was
first
probably
song
about the mid to late 2000s. Oh God, the anthem, "Good Charlotte," probably, okay. But it wouldn't be the karaoke song. That's my song where if it comes on, you bet your ass I'm gonna jam out to it.
Okay, you have a song first song that comes to mind that It comes on, you know every word to.
Well, I'm not really big on karaoke, but when I know I've done a couple of.
We've done karaoke together, haven't we?
We did. Was it NSYNC or Backstreet
Oh
Boys?
my god! Oh, you're thinking of the time before.
Yeah,
See,
no.
that was back in college.
Yeah, that was college.
Yeah,
Did you choose NSYNC or it was just like a?
It was like a
I
mutual
did.
decision.
Oh, I did.
Okay.
I didn't care at the time. I mean, we had a lot of water.
Yeah.
that night,
Yeah.
Water. Hats off to Fat Daddies.
I would say
5% water.
an easy one for me would be like "Don't Stop Believing."
Yeah.
Oh
Journey's a
man,
classic.
that is one that's it's a perfect karaoke song because if you think about it.
You can't go wrong. Everyone knows the lyrics.
Yeah,
Everyone knows-
Everyone's gonna sing along.
It's not
Yeah.
that hard to sing, and then you could just like hold your mic out to the people if
Yeah.
you don't want to
Exactly.
go for the high notes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the song I was listening to driving over was Wagon Wheel. So I don't know all the
that's
words
a
to
good
that
one.
song, but like you know the chorus, right? Wagon Wheel.
Rock
Everyone's
me, mama,
Yeah.
like something. No,
But
I mean
the only problem with
I
Wagon
get
Wheel
it.
is a lot of people kind of cover it. Some people like Oprah Medicine Show is the original, and then Darius Rucker has,
That's
like
the
a
one
cover
that I
team.
know of.
Yeah, but obviously being from New York, Billy Joel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, he is.
Piano Man.
I,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh,
I think a part of Billy Joel lives inside you if you were either like born.
that might be a top 5
Raised by-
karaoke
Oh,
song.
New York.
of all
It's so
time.
good.
Hmm.
But when you mentioned the anthem "Good Charlotte," the second song that came to mind for me is "Mr. Brightside." The
Oh
Killers.
yeah, no, that's fantastic. It was only a kiss. How
Yeah,
did it
oh
end up
my
like?
God.
Oh man, I think anybody
Do
like
you know?
You probably hear that at every bar.
I was,
like every
I was
karaoke
definitely
bar.
when that song was coming on. I was logging into RuneScape, like ready to slay some. I was for sure.
RuneScape.
Yeah,
oh man,
RuneScape,
throwback.
don't-
It's coming back.
See when I think that when I think of that, I'm thinking of like I'm thinking of like dive. I'm thinking dive bar like 1:30 in the morning. Like that song comes on, and then just like some white girl who's probably had a few too many. I love this song.
Yeah.
That when I think of
You
Mr.
did that way
Brightside.
too well.
Well, the white girl was me. We got a fun game for you coming up. It's called the BOT TODs. That is coming up.
The talent.